Welcome, my name is Rob Forsyth and I'm here to briefly discuss a new paper that's appearing in the March 2018 edition of Developmental Medicine Child Neurology. This is a paper in which we introduce something we are calling the Paediatric Rehabilitation Ingredients measure with its obvious acronym and an intended metaphor of splitting something complex like light into its key ingredients. So the problem we're trying to address here is wanting to study outcomes after acquired brain injury and in particular to understand the difference that rehabilitation might be making to those outcomes, which is obviously an important research question. We understand that outcomes after acquired brain injury are very complex and depend on many things. The child, the nature and severity of her injury, many aspects of the world she's returning to, but also, hopefully, the treatment she's receiving. And it's this last element that PRISM speaks to. We're trying to develop a method for describing rehabilitation received, its components, if you like, its ingredients, and its dose. And essentially what we've done in the paper has two parts. The first is to try and develop a menu that we think is sufficiently complete that we can describe any child's rehabilitation as composing one or more ingredients taken from that menu. And it's worth just emphasizing that we think our approach could apply to other kinds of rehabilitation, such as rehabilitation in adults or non-neurological rehabilitation in children, by perhaps some slight adjustments to this menu. But the first thing we've done in the paper is to develop this menu of 11 items that we think is sufficiently complete to allow description of any child's rehabilitation. And what we then encourage a team to do is to think about which ingredients we need to describe the rehabilitation the child is receiving at any given time. And then the second thing we've done in the paper is introduce this method known as AHP, which is described in more detail in the paper, which essentially allows people to estimate the proportion of the selected ingredients. The other big advantage we found in developing PRISM, which we hadn't anticipated, was that this process of thinking about the ingredients and thinking about their proportions is a great facilitator of interdisciplinary communication. It's a great way of encouraging the team to think about the combined contributions of all team members to putting together this overall rehabilitation package. So if you're interested in further information, I'd recommend that you look at this further video that you will find on YouTube that describes the tool in action. Thank you for your attention.